Good morning, students. In our today's English literature class, let's begin our class from where we have stopped earlier in the chapter An Angel in Disguise. Let's proceed with the chapter. For a little while, the man stood with a puzzled air, confused situation. Then he turned back and went into the hovel again. Maggie, with painful effort, had raised herself to an upright position and was sitting on the bed, straining her eyes upon the door, out of which all had just departed. Excuse me. Maggie's eyes were on the door, from where each and everybody has left her. Her eyes were upon the door. A vague terror had come into her thin white face. Her face turned white and she was in a deep terror and tension. "Oh, Mr. Thompson," she cried out, catching her suspended breath. Suspended breath, she's tensed, so she's having some difficulties in breathing. "Don't leave me here alone. Please don't leave here alone. Don't leave me here alone." Though rough in exterior, means not good looking, Joe Thompson, the wheelwright, had a heart. He was a person who was not good in facial, but had a good heart. And it was very tender in some places, tender, soft-hearted. He liked children and was pleased to have them come to his shop where sleds and wagons were made or mended for the village lads without a draft on their hoarded sixpences. Means he loved children and he liked to mend and make new carts, sledges for the kids and children. "No, dear," he answered in a kind voice, going to the bed and stooping down over the child. Bending down. "You shall not be left here alone. You are not going to be left here alone. You are not going to stay here alone." Then he wrapped her with the gentleness almost of a woman. Over here, gentleness is compared with a woman because maximum time we see soft-hearted or kind-hearted, these type of emotions in a woman. Then he wrapped her with the gentleness almost of a woman in the clean bedclothes which some neighbor had brought, and lifting her in his strong arms, bore her out into the air and crossed the field that lay between the hovel and his home. He took Maggie in his hands, wrapped in the bedcloth which was given by some of the neighbors, and he left the house where Maggie used to live, and from there he crossed the farm which was between his house and Maggie's hovel. Now Joe Thompson's wife, who happened to be childless, Joe Thompson's wife doesn't have any child, was not a woman of saintly temper, good mood, not much given to self-denial for other goods. Self-denial means like a jealous person. And Joe had well-grounded doubts touching the manner of greeting he should receive on his arrival. And Joe was confirmed that what would be the behavior of his wife when she will see that whom he has brought home. Mrs. Thompson saw him approaching from the window and with ruffling feathers met him with a few paces from the door as he opened the garden gate and came in. Mrs. Thompson, in an angry mood, went towards Mr. Thompson when she saw him coming while opening the garden gate. He bore a precious burden. Over here, Maggie was said to be a precious burden. And he felt it to be so. And he considered Maggie to be a precious. As his arms held the sick child to his breast, a sphere of tenderness went out from her and penetrated his feelings. Means the tenderness, the care penetrated in the hearts of Mr. Joe Thompson. A bond had already corded itself around them both. A bond was created between Maggie and Joe Thompson, and love was springing into life, and a deep, tender love between Joe Thompson and Maggie was there. What have you there? Sharply questioned Mrs. Thompson, sharply in a loud tone, in a quick tone. Joe felt the child start and shrink against him. He did not reply except by a look that was pleading and cautionary that said, he didn't reply, Mrs. Thompson. He just looked at her and said, wait a moment for explanation and be gentle. Wait for a moment. I'll explain each and everything to you. Please be quiet and gentle. And passing in, carried Maggie to the small chamber on the first floor and laid her on a bed. Joe Thompson took Maggie to the first floor and laid her on a bed. Then stepping back, he shut the door and stood face to face with his vinegar-tempered wife in the passageway outside. He came face to face with his high-tempered wife after putting Maggie in her bed. We'll stop till here. We'll proceed further in our next class. Till then, thank you.